something has been stirring in my spirit about the church, about that exact scripture. See, a couple months ago, we were in a transition season, and I began to study the early church, and the Lord took me to that passage. Because, guys, we're going to talk about just touch on Samson, but see, we're living in a time where we are acting like Samson. So Samson had a Nazarite vow, and Lucas said it best. He said, God already told you not to be touching the honey. And, you know, Lucas said it, like, Samson knew that. He knew not to do that, but God didn't come to him at that exact moment and say, don't touch the honey. It wasn't the honey that was the problem. It was the carcass of the lion that was the problem. Yes. See, the carcass of the lion was specifically against his Nazarite vow. Whenever Samson was born and he was put in his mom's belly, the Lord told his mom that she was to raise him as a Nazarite. And so that meant that there were very specific things that he couldn't do. And some of those things were he couldn't cut his hair, he couldn't eat certain foods, he couldn't touch dead things. And so I just want y'all to know that he was meddling, okay? Whenever he went and killed that lion, he did one thing, but then it says that he was on his way to go marry that girl, and he got, for some reason, suspicious about that lion carcass, and he went back to it. And he shouldn't have even been going back to it, but he got even more suspicious, and he stuck his hand inside of it. And see, Samson was a man called from birth. He had a calling on his life. Like every single one of us have a calling on our life. And, you know, we got to figure out what that is, because what happens is, at that moment, God didn't come to Samson and say, don't you do it. Don't you touch that. No, he just knew. He knew he wasn't supposed to, but he ran from that. He ran from it. He kept running from it. And thank God he used his life in the end. But the truth is like, what would Samson's life have looked like if he would have actually stopped living in rebellion against God and the calling on his life, and he would have walked it out faithfully? And so you're on to something, and I just want to release this word, because I asked the Lord in the last 2 days to confirm that scripture. Lord, what are you saying about that? It's burning in my spirit. It has been for months. What are you trying to say about that? And then Lucas preached on it, so I'm just going to release this. I don't know what it is about that, but I feel like we are a bunch of Samsons in this world, especially right now. There's a remnant of believers rising up and taking a stand against disobedience to the Lord, a stand against rebellion to the Lord. But then there is this group of people, aka the world, that is running away from the calling that God has got on us, even as Christians. There's a lot of Christians in that place. They're, you know, living in this place of sin and disobedience to the Lord, and they're not thinking a single thing about it. They're living the way that they want to, when they've got such a call to carry out the mission of the Lord on their lives. And I believe that the Lord is releasing this right now. I believe that He's going to do a new thing. I believe that there is a symbolic, and Lord, don't let me mess this up. Give me the words to say, but I believe that there is some kind of connection right there between that lion carcass representing Jesus and that honey and that beehive representing the church. I believe that the Lord is about to do a new thing. I believe that He's about to birth something new in unexpected places. I believe He's about to plant His church and start rising up something new inside of a place that's unexpected. Let me tell y'all something about bees. They're really smart, okay? So I want you to take heed to the fact that they would never build their nest inside of a carcass of a dead animal. They would not do that. But they still did. And I believe that that's symbolic. I believe that there's a purpose. I believe that also it can be a representation of, you know, temptation for him, but I also believe that the Lord is saying that He is doing a new thing, that He is going to be coming in unexpected ways, in unexpected, He's going to be building his people and raising them up and giving them this safe place embedded inside of His body, inside of the resurrected Jesus. And so I just thank you, Lucas, for sharing that word. I believe that there's a powerful word in that as well about Samson living that life of rebellion against the will of the Lord and against the calling on his life. And so I encourage you, stop playing games with God. I encourage you to take up obedience, that reckless, radical obedience, that uncool thing, that whatever it looks like, however it lays you out and puts you on the floor before the Lord. Go be obedient to the Lord recklessly.